Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good day out there today, and welcome back here to another episode of Intuitive Angling. Guys, today we're going to wade into the controversy surrounding James Watson getting suspended from the Bass Pro Tour. Going to give you guys my opinion on that, sort of more, and even more than that, I'm really interested in getting your guys' feedback for what you guys think about this situation. If you're familiar with bass fishing at all, you're probably aware of this. If not, I'm going to explain to you guys sort of what happened here in today's video. Also, guys, one quick housekeeping tip before we get started here. I just like to invite everybody, if you guys are needing to purchase some fishing tackle for the spring, one of the best ways you can help the channel out here is by using my tackle warehouse link that I put in the description of each video. If you use that link in my description, the channel gets a percentage of anything that you buy out there. So that's a good way to help the channel out here, and my family and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Okay, guys, James Watson, man, got suspended for a year for the best that I can tell. I've, just from the releases I've seen on that, the Bass Pro Tour anglers, like a lot of people, when you sign up for the year, you sign a contract and you're required to abide by some certain rules and regulations in terms of what you can or can't say about the tournament circuits. And apparently, on a couple of different issues, James crossed the line, and for whatever reason, Boyd Duck at MLF saw fit to suspend him for voicing his opinion on some certain things for a year. Which that's what we're going to talk about in today's video, the entire topic behind that. One thing I'll say about that is when you try to control people's tongues, you are headed down a very slippery slope. So we're going to get into that in today's video a little bit. But anyway, guys, before we get started, I love James Watson. Everybody does. James Watson is a super funny guy. He's super authentic. He's vocal like a lot of us are, and he's opinionated. But the thing about it, he's authentic. And people appreciate and respect and love people that are authentic. And that's why James Watson has such a huge fan base, is he's an authentic guy out there. So from that standpoint, I've always liked James, man. And I've known his dad forever. His dad passed away, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, but his dad, Bill, was a legend here in the Ozarks. Him and his buddy partner, Rick Holmden, back in the late 70s and early 80s, they won everything at Table Rock Lake and Stockton Lake. And Bill, James's dad, was in the same bass club I was back in the late 70s and early 80s. And I had a chance to fish with him quite a few times, and just an unbelievable fisherman. So I'm familiar with the family for a while. But anyway, apparently what happened here on this whole thing is that there had been some conflicts over different type of changes or rules within MLF. And James became vocal with it, expressed his opposition to a couple different things. One thing led to another, and there was like this, I guess, I don't know if it's some type of a power struggle between MLF, Boyd Duckett, and James. And as a result, he got suspended for a year from the tournaments. Can't fish any MLF tournaments whatsoever. So what I want to speak to in this particular tournament, in this particular video, is what is going on here? What is this right or whatever? First of all, one of the things I want to say about this whole thing is when you enter these tournaments, it's like you have to sign like a contract, like you agree to the rules, that type of stuff. And it's not a democracy, it's a dictatorship, the tournament rules out there, because it's their vested interest, it's their business, and they want people adhering to whatever rules that they set. And it's pretty much non-negotiable. I mean, if you violate a rule, you can file an appeal to a board of anglers that can look into that. But ultimately, you don't have a lot of control over the outcome of any type of a violation out there. So the point of the matter is here, it's like, what is this going to do to the perception of MLF, Bassmaster, anybody that does that? First of all, I think that this particular disqualification is going to leave a bad mark on MLF, because people don't like to see their First Amendment rights being trampled on. And ultimately, when you talk about somebody like James voicing his opinion or his opposition, that he was treated unjustly for whatever reason, if that is met with disqualification or severe financial penalties, it is like some type of a violation of your First Amendment rights to free speech. But given that, it's like that is a business. So they have a vested interest in protecting their business to how they see fit. But the difference is, in my opinion, is James Watson and anyone else that gets disqualified from a tournament, they are not employees of MLF or Bassmaster. They are customers. James Watson and all the other MLF guys, they have to pony up and pay MLF $5,000 a tournament to fish these tournaments. You know, on top of that, guys like James Watson that has a big social media profile, they directly expose and promote the organization for free to MLF. So you're basically disqualifying one of your customers, and I just don't think that leaves a good taste in the fans' eyes and the fans' minds. I have not heard anybody out there that has stood up for MLF on this disqualification. What this has done, this has hurt MLF public perception amongst the people that follow the sport. I'm pretty connected to the sport. I know a lot of people in it. I communicate with a lot of people out there. You know, I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments on my videos every single day. And every single person I've talked to has slammed MLF over this decision. You know, they see it as petty. There's no transparency whatsoever behind it. And like I said, I'm not telling people how to run their business, because I understand you don't want anybody saying anything that's going to diminish your business. But at the same time, I think one of the big lacks that we have in the tournament organization world out there, whatever tournament organization it is, there's a tremendous lack of transparency in what's going on. It's just like this whole thing between MLF and James Watson is there's not any transparency there. It's like all we see is the result of decisions out there. Now, one of the things, the damage control that could have been done on this is, like, if there was a problem between Boyd Duckett and like I said, I don't know Boyd Duckett. I just know him just from what you guys do. The only thing I know about Boyd Duckett is what I read in social media posts and chat rooms and all that type of stuff. He's not the most popular dude out there. He's alienated a lot of the fishing public for different reasons. I'm not saying anything bad about Boyd Duckett because I don't know him. I'm just referring to what I see as far as the feedback on it. On the other hand, James Watson's super popular with the fans out there. But the thing about this is how all this can be circumvented without James being disqualified is if they would have been completely transparent and they would have said out there and they would have put on their website or this or that, this is exactly what happened here. This is the rules that James violated. And you can see right here in our rules where they sign this contract, if you violate this, this is a clear-cut case for some type of suspension or disqualification. I didn't see any of that out there. And I think that's one of the things that the bass fishing public sort of perceives this as being small and petty and vindictive a little bit, almost like there was a beef between James Watson and Boyd Duckett that people don't understand or aren't privy to. So the point is, it's like, you know, if they can do this to James Watson, what keeps tournament organizations doing it from anybody? If they see if there's some type of, even if it's a gray area, that somebody voices their opinion and they don't like their opinion, does that mean you can get kicked out of the tournaments from it? Does that mean that I can get kicked out of the tournaments because, you know, I'm critical of the organizations for allowing spotlighting in the tournaments? I mean, where do you draw the line at? It's like, is everybody supposed to be these little perfectly minded, and you're a little soldier and you're in line with the group, and if you say one thing bad about the organization or anything out there, you know, you're going to get squashed and you're going to get kicked out? So from that standpoint, it's a slippery slope, man. It's just like I said in the start of the video, when you try to control people's tongues, it's a slippery slope. And like I said, it would be a big difference if James Watson worked for MLF and he was an employee of MLF and was dogging MLF for whatever reason. I can see from a business perspective how you could justify that. But James Watson is a customer. He pays tens of thousands of dollars to compete in the MLF tournaments. And on top of that, he promotes the organization through his social media. Everyone that fishes does. And yet when he voices his opposition, you know, he gets the boot from the tournament. So I just don't think it's a good look for the tournament organizations. I really don't. I mean, I don't think it's a good look for MLF. I think James Watson is going to come out as being perceived as, on the right side of history on this thing. I know that every single situation you can't badmouth anything out there that will either harm another person or do irreparable harm, to the organization that's unfounded out there. So just unfortunate that we had to go through this. And to be honest with you, it's disturbing to me. It's disturbing that anglers out there now, after James Watson's suspension, they have to watch what comes out of their mouth. They can't express their feelings, freely. If they have some type of situation or opposition that they want to improve, they're going to have to keep their mouth shut. And another thing about that is, like, every single situation I've ever been around in fishing, including myself, people that have that have some type of opposition or disagreement with the tournament organization, they're not having that opposition or disagreement because they want to see the tournament organization fail. They have a vested interest in seeing the tournament organization thrive and being successful. All they're trying to do is offer their opinion that would help something out. It's like to try to make it better. They're not trying to tear anything down. I mean, James Watson has a vested interest. He's been with MLF forever. He's one of the founding members of the whole Major League Fishing deal. He has a vested interest in seeing MLF being successful. He doesn't have any interest in tearing it down. So from that standpoint, I don't really understand what happened here, but not good. I just really interested in getting your guys' opinion. All you guys out there that follow this, let me know what you guys think about it. Let's get a little conversation going, and we'll talk later. See you.